Good morning, Lightworkers. This is where I do my best work, first thing in the morning. And there's quite a few videos that I wanted to go through and put out, and one of the most powerful ones is related to self-sabotage. And this comes up in many ways, and the amazing thing about self-sabotage is that we don't always see how we're sabotaging ourselves, because the self-sabotage is actually emerging from a deeper unconscious desire to limit ourselves. Why do we do this? Why would we ever want to limit ourselves or ever want to create more suffering? Well, these unconscious ideas come from our conditioning. It comes from our environment, and it comes from negative interference from the matrix and other entities and energies, which I'll speak about in another video. I want to do a whole separate one on that. And that's nothing to be afraid of, it's just to be aware of. You see, if we're not aware of things, this is how these things can control us. So once we bring awareness into it, we can actually start, that awareness literally has energy of its own that starts to infiltrate everything. It starts to take your power back. And there are so many ways we love to self-sabotage. One of the many common themes that I notice is that when embarking on your path, you'll create a lot of distraction and procrastination energy. Now, procrastination generally refers to the idea that we are, deciding upon different paths or different projects or different ideas themselves. And we procrastinate. Every decision becomes multiple decisions. We start to have so many different confusing, conflicting thought streams that we don't act. And this is essentially the underlying purpose of procrastination. It is actually, its desire is for you not to act. And so it creates a perpetual state of inaction where you're just lost in your own thoughts. Why would you create that? Why would you create this self-sabotage? Now, as much as it's coming from external conditioning, it's also related to our fears of actually being out there, being seen. You see, we have a great desire to be seen, but we also have great fears of being seen, and this is related to the playing it small element, which I'll speak about again in another whole video around this. And so the self-sabotage relates to our fears of expressing who we are. And these fears can come simply from not being validated for who you are, who you truly are. You see, in society, as you're growing up through school and adolescence and coming into the world, you're generally validated for being something that you're not. You're being asked to shift your personality to accommodate to an ideal that everyone has to fall in line to. And so deep down you know that being you isn't really valid. So as you step into your path, as you want to express who you truly are to the world, you are naturally feeling fears of, will I be accepted for who I am? Is what I do worthy enough to be received by another? Is it even worthy enough for another being to benefit from? There's no one out there really just saying, yes, you are beautiful, you're amazing, you're incredible, your work is absolutely astounding. You're the pioneers at the moment, and you're the ones having to tell yourself this. And those who are coming afterwards will benefit from your grace, your wisdom, your love, your support, because you're creating the new structures. And this is partly why I'm creating these videos, is to help you, because I know how difficult it is. We're on our own on this, yet we're not. At the same time, we're here all together, and we can tap into this in a very different way. So when it comes to self-sabotage, a lot of this relates to resistance, a resistance to ideas, a resistance to a situation. And it's amazing self-sabotage because you can create the idea that you're not even interested in your work. You have this great passion, you want to do it, and you're set about going about this work. And then you suddenly lose interest. You suddenly lose interest in what you have to do and where you want to go, and you suddenly have all this flood of other ideas come in. This is a form of self-sabotage. An idea that you need to keep improving what you do, and keep evolving. You keep looking for something new because what you're doing isn't good enough. And this all relates to this worthiness aspect of, I'm not ready enough, it's not good enough, I have to keep improving it. What you have to offer right now is already beneficial and will help many, many, many people. I speak about this in all ways. It might be your healing, it might be your writing, it might be your expression, it might be your art, it might be your projects. Whatever you can do right now is valid enough. So when it comes to self-sabotage, how do we know where we're sabotaging ourselves, and how do we know where we're just simply the resistance showing us something that's not in line, it's not in flow? And this is kind of like one of those age-old questions. Is it fear? Is it intuition? And you have to play with it. If it keeps emerging, then I'll ask you to question it. Question why it keeps emerging, and experiment by going into it and seeing what it feels like. The biggest breakthrough for procrastination, for self-sabotage, is action. Take action and see what happens through that action. There's nothing to fear here through your action. You're creating an experience as an exploration, to allow yourself to move into these experiences and see what happens. Another element here is to be mindful of your thoughts and to recognize that they're not always yours. These are thought streams that emerge from the mass consciousness, emerge from the matrix, and they kind of merge and kind of subtly are here to prevent you from doing your work. Again, this is not a negative thing in this way, it's just simply how the matrix works. So it is taking a moment, pausing and asking yourself, what is the most beneficial, what is the highest way that I can serve my light, the light, to the world? How can I be more? How can I expand more? How can I share more? This is always the way to go. Anything that takes you into further inward withdrawal is limiting you, literally. So these are the elements to acknowledge. Anything that keeps distracting you. This is how self-sabotage works. It works with distraction. Distraction of ideas. It may seem really positive. It's still self-sabotage. It can be where you try something and you get totally overwhelmed by the criticism, self-criticism, and you withdraw and you don't try it again. So a huge element of self-sabotage is the criticism and judgment, and this is something that I want to speak about here. You see, on this path, our criticism, self-criticism, is pretty intense, and if you're empathic, it's going to be super intense. We're very, very, very critical of ourselves. And this is of every action that we take, and how we're doing it, how we're perceived, and how we're received, and how we relay it. And we crave validation. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't need to get to this Buddha state where we're just sourcing all of our inner love ourselves. It's okay to want validation. Just be okay with that. Be okay with the fact that you need validation, that you need to be recognized. This is okay. Once you're okay with this, you start to understand your needs. And your needs are that the self-critical aspect will challenge anything that isn't supported. So it's tuning into that stronger part of yourself, the higher self aspect, or the deeper soul presence aspect that is ancient, beyond anything, it's untouchable. And allowing it to teach this other part of you, allowing it to channel love to this other part of you. And as you do this, you start to draw an element of this self-love from within, and it is enough to nourish you and keep you going whilst this other noise of the voice is continuing. Now, I'm not saying the noise will disappear. It hasn't disappeared for me. It simply dies down, starts to become less the more work I do. And this is one of the most fascinating aspects of our work. Another element is whether you're creating a lot of drama in your life, experiencing a lot of drama, experiencing a lot of healing, endless healing processes. And a lot of this is related due to the fact that you have an incredible amount of psychic and healing energy within you that simply wants to be expressed. If it is not being expressed through your work, which is why you come here, expressed through your beingness, sharing it to the world, it will simply seek out other ways to express, and it does that through our relationships. We go through this healing process where we start to attract healing relationships, healing those around us, because you're a healer, a natural healer. You want to express this to the world. I've been through this many, many times, and it's about recognizing that this energy simply wants to be expressed to the greater masses. As you start to channel this, this energy starts to stop focusing on those around and creating these drama situations. And similar with the psychic energy, we are seeing a lot of things around us when it's not being channeled into the direct energy of your projects, of your work, with your clients, with your healing, with your art, with your music, with whatever it is that you're doing. It's allowing you to express that, because essentially you've come here to be seen by the world. You've come here to be received by the world. And when you start to express things to the world, however scary it is, there's a deep fulfillment that starts to emerge, because your soul desperately wants its unique energy to be heard. This is a beautiful thing, because we need to hear you. You carry something, codes, frequencies within that transmission of whatever it is you're expressing that we desperately need. It adds to us, and we grow from it. We get fulfilled from it. We start to evolve from it. And whether it's received positively or negatively, again, this polarization, we've got this deep desire to be liked by everyone. This is another reason that we self-sabotage and hold ourselves back, that we cannot handle one person not liking what we do. We need to become comfortable with that. Not everybody's going to like everything you do. People will be triggered by it, but that's still a reaction. People will be moved by it. They will fall in love with it. They will be get angry by it. It doesn't matter. We need to disengage from the praise and the criticism of the external world more and more and more. And that will still be there, playing around in the head. And the key is to just keep doing, keep acting, and you'll gain a confidence. But the confidence doesn't emerge unless you act. So this self-sabotage, really, the key to move through it is to act.